What is up, guys? It's Bobby Shelster99. So I've been watching a lot of Resident Evil 6 reviews and stuff and reading a lot of comments, so I figured I would give my thoughts on Resident Evil 6, and why some of the reviews aren't really surprising to me. But the first thing I want to address is I've been a long time Resident Evil fan since Resident Evil the first one and Resident Evil 0. I think Resident Evil, the first one, is actually the best Resident Evil out of them all. But anyway, but I watched the GameSpot review. I watched the IGN review. I've been watching most of them just to understand the points and stuff. But the one I'm going to talk about is the IGN one, because the guy made a lot of points that I seem to agree with. Like, one of the biggest one was that there was too much action throughout the game, which is completely understandable, because when you take a series like Resident Evil that's been out there for so long and is strictly based on scaring the shit out of people and slowly morph that into an action game, people aren't going to respond because they are as hardcore horror fans. Like, when you think Resident Evil, you don't think action. You think getting scared shitless and killing some fucking zombies. And that's what Resident Evil 6 seems to be running down the action path. And Capcom has said themselves the reason they're doing it is for sales, which I think is absolutely dumb. I understand that it's a business, but fans is what make your business, and I don't think anybody really wants to get Resident Evil because of the action, But there's just a lot of points that I agreed with. Just from playing the demo, I could tell what he was talking about. Like Chris's freaking, like Leon's was pretty much, his little campaign was like, it felt kind of classic to me, sort of like Resident Evil 4 and stuff. It had that kind of eerie feel to it, a lot darker areas and stuff. Chris's campaign was like a hardcore fucking third-person shooter, which pissed me off. I like Jake's campaign in the demo because Jake can whoop some motherfucking ass, man. But there's just certain things that really piss me off that I wish that they would just go back to Resident Evil 3. Even Resident Evil 3 was scary. Resident Evil 2 was scary. Resident Evil, holy freaking shit your pants, that was scary. Resident Evil 0, what the fuck is going on? That was scary too. Now, I remember playing the first Resident Evil because I bought the Resident Evil before I bought Resident Evil 0. Now, I remember the first mission, or like when you go into the mansion, and you go into this gigantic room, and there's like a giant table in there, and there's a fireplace, and there's a door right here, and you go in the door, and then you see some guy, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And then you're like, and then he looks at you, and he turns his fucking head, and he's like, Resident Evil. I'm just kidding. But he turns his head, and the way he looked was so freaking terrifying to me. I was just like, bitch, run! Like, that was such an amazing feeling to me. Being scared shitless, or because it had those camera angles like Silent Hill. Because you can walk down a hallway, go around a corner, and the camera doesn't switch, and then there's a big fat zombie going to each face. Okay, that's terrifying. That is amazing. That is what Resident Evil is about. And changing it to an action fucking bullshit for sales is something I really don't agree with, and it's sad because the fans are seriously reacting to it, and I'm not surprised, because they're trying to do the same thing with Dead Space 3. EA came forth and said that they wanted to make a more action-oriented game instead of delivering stuff to the hardcore horror fans, which is bullshit. But it just comes down to Capcom should have listened and kept Resident Evil the way it was, because you can see it slowly diminish to just what it is now. It's still, and the thing is, I want to say, if you could absolutely love it. That's the thing. Just because a reviewer gave it a 3 or whatever doesn't mean you shouldn't go get it. It's still based on your opinion, because a reviewer shouldn't influence jack shit with what you believe. So I'll probably get it, and do my own review on it, and there you go. I don't really care if it gets a 2 out of 10 or whatever. I'm still a fan of Resident Evil, You know, it may have changed a lot, but you know, hopefully it doesn't end up being a big pile of garbage. But anyway, guys, I want you guys' thoughts on Resident Evil 6. Will you be getting it? Are you pissed off that, you know, Capcom really, I think they really did their fans wrong by taking it in this direction. And, you know, from what I've heard, it's a pretty long campaign, but it's just ridiculous amounts of action, which isn't what the series is about. You know, I know there's times where, you know, you have to change the series, but I think they changed it for the wrong reasons. Especially when people from the company come forth and say that in the North America area, they feel like it would sell better if it was more of an action-oriented base. You know, and the thing is, like, it can be action-oriented and still be a great game. Like, Resident Evil 4 was an amazing game. There's a lot of people, and I love Resident Evil 4, but the thing is it wasn't Resident Evil. That Resident Evil 4 is when it started to Resident Evil 5, you're like, what the hell? And then Resident Evil 6, you're like, okay, this is completely different. So I want your guys' thoughts. Will you be getting it? Just the honest opinion. Don't let anybody's review stop you from getting the game, because you can buy it and absolutely fucking love it. You know. So leave your thoughts on Resident Evil 6. Are you guys getting it at midnight? Are you super excited for it? You know, are you pissed off or blah 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 blah? So be sure to subscribe. You guys have a good one. I am Bobby Chaucer 99. I'm out.